landmark in New York City, a staple really. We're talking about street vendors, and right now many of them say that they're fighting for their financial lives.
Yeah, there are an estimated 20,000 street vendors in New York, probably not surprising to you, but here's the thing. Only 6,000 of them have a license to do their business on the street. For some, it's the red tape that can cause them to wait decades just to get a license. Imagine 1 in 4 has a license. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett has a story.
There are some streets in New York that look more like a bazaar, where vendors line the sidewalks within inches of the street and within feet of one another. An estimated 3 out of 4 are unlicensed. Hundreds march down Broadway to City Hall, claiming licenses are virtually impossible to get, protesting a cap on vending licenses that's left a waiting list years long and thousands of names deep. Harlem street vendor Calvin Baker.
I think anybody that wants to apply, sure. Why not? They're already vending now.
City officials estimate there are roughly 20,000 street vendors in New York, but roughly 3,800 are licensed to sell food, and barely 1,800 are licensed for merchandise. Legislation proposed in the City Council would issue at least 1,500 new food vendor licenses and 1,500 general vending licenses. They'd be issued every year for 5 years before the caps would be abolished. In other words, anyone who qualifies would be granted a license to set up shop on the city's streets. The legislation also sets rules about where vendors can work and limits on how their merchandise is displayed and sold. Councilmember Purina Sanchez is the bill's sponsor.
We have tens of thousands of people who want a legal, fair way to work in the city of New York, vending their goods, but there's no path for them to do so.
Critics say the city's streets need fewer vendors, not more.
We have a real problem with vendors. Certain areas of College Point has got a real problem with vendors. Vendors are popping up. Like the illegal smoke shops just popped up. They're just appearing. We cannot have that.
But vendors say they shouldn't be discouraged from making an honest living.
You're trying to make your own money without public assistance, and they still come and hunt you down and take away your stuff and don't let you work.
NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
All right, at 9:14, let's take a look at Big Dog Sunday.
Yes, we got some cute pups for you on this Sunday morning. We're going to start first with Captain. I felt like on a gloomy Sunday morning, we all needed a smile, right? So we have a couple cuties here cheesing for the camera. Captain from Jose, so sweet. What a cute puppy. We also have Zoe, not to be outdone. Zoe's having the time of her life on this camp chair, loving it. Cynthia, thank you for sharing. And then Shady, who looks so happy to be sitting in a shady spot under a tree. There is sunshine on the 7th day, but today, not much of it. We started with relatively widespread showers, early wet start to our Sunday morning. Now we're heading into a bit of a lull where, yes, some spots are still seeing heavy rain, but most of us, cloudy skies, breezy wind, and humid conditions. Heading toward this evening, however, that flooding threat returns as rounds of heavier rain can prompt flooding issues across the area. Also watching that rip current risk that continues today with Tropical Storm Ernesto out in the Atlantic. So much to talk about in the full forecast. I'll have that for you coming up after the break.
Goddesses, I bring the vitality of sun.
I just see. I took the kids swimming, hit up the farmer's market, and crushed my sales call. Typical Tuesday.
Awaken your inner goddess with Vitafusion's delicious and nutritious gummies. Unwrap new Vitafusion Soft Chews, available now.